Okay, so so in our previous sessions we discussed about the internal assessment and external assessment. So we discuss right now is external assessment. So what are different way you're going to be internal external assessment you're going to doing it? So open source intelligence is one of the tools you're going to using it. Or we have some Wi-Fi external assessment you're going to trying it. We have Google databases. We talking about later on how you're going to be finding out the different what CCTVs or different devices is you're going to be accessible easily. And we have Certain.io is one of the websites you're going to using it to find out any vulnerabilities of any different companies, CCTV, refrigerators, whatever the devices comes under the artificial intelligence, or they are using some public IP address in devices, right? So we have some separate classes I'm going to running for external threats, how external assessments we're going to doing it. So it's very interesting things going on for the things, and we talking about in the external assessment like default passwords. So we have the default passwords database will be available freely on the internet, so that we gonna be take a look. Suppose you guys are getting any different devices, right? And then I would like to configure, so you can asking that, hey, what's the IP address of the device? What's the default what is default ID and passwords of the devices, so that you will easily going to be cracking it. Okay, and then we're talking about some network assessment, wireless network assessments, host-based assessment, application DB and DB, and physical security assessment. So network assessment is a technique, is a skills that you required. First of all, you need to understand the basic fundamentals of the networking. Do you need to understand, right? So the we have different skill set, the requirement of network assessment. So you need to understand the different layered approach. Okay, which layers, different layers of networking I'm talking about here. So the OSI layers, you need to be the member first of all, with different devices, communications on different layered approach. You need to understand different devices, like I'm talking about the firewalls, next generation firewalls are running on networking. You're talking about some routers, you're talking about switches, you understand some CCNA, CCNP, CCI level sort of things. You have BGP protocols and the MPLS protocols, how things gonna working. And you have to good enhancement about networking assessment, first of all, if you're going to do some vulnerabilities, so that you're going to find out some bugs, you're going to find out some issues on the same. So what I'm trying to do, I'm going to, if you guys are new and you don't know the networking in-depth knowledge, so I'm going to go for the new separate class for separate sessions I'm going to running for the networking class, so that you're going to be understand that what are different devices in the networking and what are the security parameters. So mostly I'm talking about the security assessment of networking devices. So suppose you guys are working on the firewalls, and what are different firewalls in the market right now? Like I'm talking about some Palo Alto in the next generation firewalls. I'm talking about some FortiGate devices. I'm talking about Dell Sonic Wall devices. So you will going to see that the Gartner report, and in the Gartner report, you're going to find out the different the leaders in the market right now. What are the different firewalls we have right now to working on the same, right? And once you understand the vendor specific firewalls, you need to understand some communications on the networking devices, right? So the end-to-end communications like source and destination, which traffic is coming from source and then the destination, how to identify all those things. And the most important part of the networking instrument, you need to understand the protocols that coming working into the networking. Like I'm talking about them, the OSCP, I'm talking about some AIGRP, I'm talking about some BGP, the MPLS protocols, how the things are working. And then you need to understand the end-to-end communications, that what are the different packets it's going to be communicating, right? And how do you going to check the networks? How do you going to, what are different command line to check the networks? Like if I talking about some different platforms, not about the Windows platforms, you guys are comfortable on the Windows, but if I'm talking about some CentOS environment, right? I'm talking about Linux RHEL, what platform. In the Linux platform, we are using some different command line will be there to network assessment. So if you're running like a CentOS environment of Linux, we have different networks file will be there. So resolve.conf file is there. You need to be configure the IP address details inside the same. So it's a matter of fact that how you are expert on the networking point of view. And second point I would like to suggest, that's in the cloud computing world, okay? In the cloud computing world, you need to understand the different vendors like AWS, Azure, Google, GCP, okay, and the OpenStack, CloudStack, Alibaba, and we have IBM, different vendors available in the market right now. And suppose you are going to do some vulnerability assessment on the cloud computing and the different vendors, then what are the different features you want to be access all the same? So in the networking assessment on the cloud point of view, you need to check the rules. You need to check the configurations. You need to check the what are the different features are integrating, like peer-to-peer configurations into the cloud computing, like how the one system or the one specific regions of any company's instances going to communicate with another instance which is in different region. Suppose you're going to creating a database in India, and they have one instance like we have virtual machine will be there, and another system you're going to be configured on the US side, okay? And we have different instance will be there, and that you need to be communicate with two different regions systems instances each other, so that you're going to require some peer-to-peer configurations. Networking is on doing it, setup is all about, so that how you're going to be communicating all those things and the different regions are together, and what are the networking disaster recovery management, okay? How you going to make some disaster recovery management? How do you to creating that the business continuity planning assessment on a networking basis? So how you going to say that your end-to-end communication is working efficiently, effectively, and secure? Because what the problems coming, what are the issues is coming, like intruders, like the hackers are doing some different strategies. They are going to do some man in the middle attack. And in the man in the middle attacks, you will see that your traffic going to send source to destinations. At the same time, they're going to break your communications in the middle, and they're going to be sending the information whatever they like it. Okay, and they're going to sending this more and more information traffic on your different servers, and your server is not going to be accessible right now. Okay, and then they're going to be session hijacking is one of the issues you're going to be seeing that. So in the networking assessment here, you need to understand the different attacks on the networking side and how you're going to prevent all those attacks. This is what we are going to learning in our next few sessions. But networking assessment, once you're going to expertise on the networking part, you need to understand the networking security, networking issues in current environment. And then you're going to go some preventive actions on the networking side. And afterwards, you're going to understand all those strategies, all those understand concepts, the logic behind it. Then you're going to be do some network assessment correctly. Because suppose I'm going to be running right now the Wireshark, Nmap, SolarWinds, PRTG, MRTG, you're going to be running on like SIM solution, source solutions. You don't know, you doesn't understand so many things most directly, because you need to understand thoroughly in-depth knowledge of networking requirement. And this is what the base of the cybersecurity is in the networking I'm considered, right? The second things I would suggest the network, wireless network assessment, so that wireless networking is penetrate in networks. So first of all, you need to understand a simple question that we are you going to use the passwords of wireless, right? Where the password will be storing, which file the password will be storing of Wi-Fi in our Windows environment and our Linux environment. First thing. Second, because I'm a hacker, I would like to know that which files I need to crack. You need to understand, you need to make a strategy, you need to think like a hacker. If you are doing a penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, you need to think like a hacker that what are the different strategies, what are the different plan of actions, what are the different vulnerabilities and threats I'm going to find out in the networking on the wireless point of view. And the second, I would like to suggest that which specific protocols are open and not open. Suppose what type of protocols you are going to using it for your communications in the wireless, right? So the you know what, if you are going to communicate with your in the wireless networking, which is the lower the encryptions, then easily hackable, right? Right. And then the third thing, you need to check it out, the CV, like what are the in the past region, in the past, what are the which devices are easily hackable, and what are the different threats and vulnerabilities will be available. So we have website will be there, like CVE website. If you're going to open it, common vulnerability exploit. So CVE site, you can also go there, and then they have mentioned all those CVEs about wireless networking applications, a number of things. So you are expert on cybersecurity. You need to understand what are the different threats and vulnerabilities. Find out till the time in the wireless networks. The fourth things you need to understand that what type of vendors are there on the wireless platforms. We have Aruba from HP devices. We have WatchGuard devices. We have Cisco devices. How they going to more secure dashboard is all about, like TLS communications, the protocols, the digital certificates is there. We have digital signatures on specific modules will be there. So how to end-to-end communications, this is what you're going to learning it. Okay, so it's we have what type of digital certificates will be there, how much the encryptions is there into certifications. So this is, you know what, you're going to check it out on the net wireless as well, and it also the applications and databases point of view, and the website point of view would like to see all those things, because the OS top 10 is the part of the applications, right? And SQL injections, and there are many more you know what strategies of different attacks on the applications I'm talking about here. Host-based assessment. So suppose you are affected of ransomware or WannaCry. What were your strategies right now? Suppose your system is affected on zero-day attacks. What is your what's your strategies you're gonna build? What are vulnerability and specific servers or computers? So what are tools, techniques, skill set you're gonna using to secure your host-based assessment? I'm talking about, do you have some patching systems on your systems or not? I'm talking about, do you have some security updates running on your systems or not? How do you going to tracking your systems on the XDR, EDR platform, endpoint detections point of view? I'm talking about antivirus management systems. I'm talking about here. Do you have some classification of your databases, data on the host-based assessment? So suppose you want to implement the DLP solution in the systems point of view. Okay, data leakage prevention I'm talking about here. So in a DLP, once you're going to implement in the company, you have some 5,000 number of host systems in the company. What are the data classifications you have done on the host based? How you can say that it's a public accessible data, it's a sensitive data, it's a secure data, or it's a sensible data, it's a more confidential data is all about. So this is what the strategies, the techniques, the skills, the requirement into the cybersecurity environment once you're doing some vulnerability assessment things there. It's not easy right now because it's very complex in nature. And you need to understand in-depth knowledge about all those host-based assessment, wireless network assessment, because the lateral movement will be there. Okay, the identity access management is a problem. That's the number of persons are going to access the administrative access right now. How do you going to be checked out all each and everything? So if an ISO 27,000 or different compliances is talking about, they have maintained some checklist. In this checklist, they're going to see that this is implemented or no, yes, no, yes, no. They're going to check it out, some evidences based on the what you are going to configure it. And then they have say, yeah, it's okay to go. And what are security implementations in your company? I'm talking about some like preventive actions, preventive controls I'm talking about, the compulsory controls I'm talking about, the administrative controls, preventive controls, and we have different type of controls we talking about in the company basis here. Application databases, so it is you understand that website and databases makes configurations. So that how do you say that your database is secure on the cloud computing things? My company, I would say that I'm using the cloud computing in my company. I'm going to migrate my data into the AWS Azure. How would you say that? How do you guarantee to me that my database is secured and how do you going to make some what are the different strategies you're going to be say that? Because I'm going to build up the I'm going to build up the cloud computing features again, like I'm going to build up the firewalls, I'm going to build up the VNet, I'm going to build up the networking things, I want to build up the instances. But how do you secure my databases? This is what I'm looking for. And we have cross regions platforms. Suppose in the cloud computing, you have seen that there's no boundaries in globally. And I would not going to suggest that my data is going to outside of the India. Then what to do? What strategies I'm going to using it? We have top 10 or top 10 things will be there, but still the applications websites are going to be hacked. So what are the security codes? Do you need to understand some Python programming, a little bit of the coding things I'm talking about here? Because the security testing reports we need to be sending to the management. And how do you going to secure your codes? How do you say that your code is bug free? That's what I'm looking for, that the applications and database is the most important part of any company. They're running it. And they are going to use some different strategies to secure the applications and databases. And right now you have seen the WAF, okay, and you have seen then different, what methodologies, different techniques will be available in the market. So you need to aware about all those things in the cloud computing regions and the on-premises stuff like that. And then we're talking about some physical security assessment. So yes, physical security and the perimeter security I'm talking about here. So how do you see that your CCTV management? I'm talking about some your biometrics sort of things in the company's point of view. How secure it is? You can see that the administrators and different privileges will be there. It's easily going to be changing and into modifications can be done. So that the hackers are going to be talking about some this what physical security assessment they are doing it first of all if they're going to doing it. Okay, so penetration testing and security testing, they are two different things, my dear friends. Because you guys are looking for your career into the penetration testing and security testing. So penetration testing is all about the process of finding and reporting security vulnerabilities in the networks, computers, applications, and in order to secure it on any other sort of attacks. So penetration testing is a process you going to find out the finding out and setting the reporting security vulnerabilities to the networking. It means that you need to send a report to the management. This is the vulnerabilities we have find out and we have fixed it. And we have sending the reports to the management that this is the correct things is all about of any sort of attacks. So pen testers are usually certified white hat hackers and of LPT. So LPT is a separate certification of if you're going to make your career into the VAPT, the licensed penetration tester is the separate certifications you're looking, or you can go for it, my dear friends. And pen testers reports that how a vulnerability can be exploited. So most of the tools, suppose, are going to using it in a company like Qualys is one of the tools. Lots of companies are using it. Right? We discuss about all those things that in practical way. Pen testers also report that how to patch the issues on in priority, properly documented report. So I'm talking about here that management, the governance is a one thing. You are working on cybersecurity. You should need to send the reports to the management. And management doesn't have too much time to look at your reports. How do you set up the expectations, the requirement from the top management, what type of reports you're going to generating it, and the gap between the governance, the top management, and your cybersecurity team. How do you fill these gaps? So this is usually the problems will be coming, the issues will be always be there. So how do you going to bridge the gap between all those things? That's what it is. The report is a way where you can going to provide reports on timely, weekly, monthly basis, quarterly. And what does inside the reports is matters a lot. Suppose I'm using a cloud computing, AWS, Azure things in my company, and then I required the compliance reports to sending to my authority. So that's what what you need to be take care more sensible things. So a penetration test is also known as a pen test, is also authorized simulated attacks on computer systems and does look for security weakness, potentially gaining access on systems, features and data. So if you guys are working on enterprise companies, right? And enterprise companies, you are working on the specific tools they have or cyber threat intelligence tools they have right now. Cyber threat intelligence tools, like I have got so many cyber threat intelligence tools in the market right now. You're gonna working on the same maintained and different tools are in the market right now for cyber threat intelligence. So what they're doing it, they are going to creating the lab environment, virtualized lab environment, like the sandboxing environment in the companies, and they're going to do some attacks. That team is going to attacking same time, and the purple team and different teams are going to be, how do you going to prevent the offensive and defensive things are working together. And then the reports will be sending to the management, and then the management will be decided what needs to be done on our SIM solution, QRadar, or different strategies they're going to doing it. So in the companies, you have seen that the CloudStrike is one of the tools for the endpoint security solutions. We have some XDR, we have some EDR solutions in the market right now. We have SIM solutions, source solutions in the market right now, like XOR platforms of Palo Alto. You're gonna using it. Splunk Phantom is one of the tools you're gonna using it. So as per this report, you're gonna make a strategies there. And management will be going to decide that what the strategies we're going to be build up to make our more secure environment in the company. So whatever the threats it will be there in the market, like zero-day attacks or whatever it is, like ransomware attack, phishing attacks, or malware attacks, you need to be creating a virtual environment on the cyber intelligence things, and then you're going to be in a defensive approach, you're going to doing it, and then how the result will be there, and then sending the reports to management, and then the governance will say that yes, we need to go for the strategies, and after that you are going to build up the playbooks on your source solution. So security orchestration automation response is artificial intelligence is tools where we're going to be creating the playbooks that how if the attacks will be happen, then what the basically my device is going to be threats going to be preventive, the defensive things how going to work. So this is the things we're going to be creating it in the environment. Okay, then we're talking about very important terms like ethical hacking versus the penetration testing. So this is the two different terminologies. I can say that to you guys. So ethical hacking is focused on all techniques to find and exploit in the vulnerabilities, right? And ethical hacking is a broad terms. You can say that, my dear. Okay, in this ethical hacking, the all techniques, every technique is going to be using it to exploit vulnerabilities. It doesn't matter that it just comes from the mobile devices. I'm talking about, suppose you are going to do hacking on the drones. Okay, you suppose you're working on the manufacturing industries and SCADA platform. The SCADA is, for the control, the robotics machines are working on a manufacturing companies, like if you have seen it. And then how, suppose I'm a hacker, I'm going to be hacking the command and control on manufacturing device robotics machines, then what happened? What to do? The next thing is all about. So doesn't matter that I'm which is department, which domain I'm coming from, and I'm going to do some all the techniques I'm going to exploit and vulnerabilities. So ethical hacking is focused on all those things. So main target is to break in the systems. That's what it is all about. As a hacker, I don't care that what type of target is all about. I need to hit on the same. I need to break the systems. That's it. That's what is my motto. And motivations is different things, that why I'm going to doing it, for the money purpose I'm going to doing it, or suppose I have some government agencies is going to be say that yes, you're going to go for it, or there are different strategies, my dear friends. Ethical hacking is an offensive measure, right? It's offensive things, you are always going to doing it. Okay, not going to so go for some defensive approach and all those things. Offensive measures is going to doing it. So pen testing is focused on finding all vulnerabilities in the network, computer, or applications. So it's a limited scope, my dear friends. No one going to call you that, hey, what are the compliances, regulations is all about, what we're going to doing it. You need to sign the reports of networking, computer or applications, and the cloud. Okay, and different things like system security, network security, Wi-Fi security, system security, application security, and many more. And your specific target will be there, right? Suppose you are networking pen test, you need to go for some Wireshark or Nmap or different tools you're going to using it to find out the network vulnerabilities, threats, and then sending the reports to the management. That's what it is all about. And we have fixed this, all those issues like this was open ports on the things, we have TLS not configured correctly, we have multi-factor authentication was not there into networking things, we have configured all those things. These are some vulnerabilities we have find out. So main target is to defend the system against any threat. So you can see that we need to defend any threats. The strategy is different. In ethical hacking, we have offensive in nature, but in pen testing, we are defensive approach we have right now. How you could defend all those things? Suppose any attacks will be happen, then what will be your answers on the same? How do you want to secure your information protections in the company? So pen testing is defensive measure, right? You're going to defensive all the times. So we have a pen testers type. So we have black hat hackers, white hat hackers, and gray hat hackers here. So black hat hackers with no prior knowledge of network, computer, or applications that needs to be tested. Okay. So if you are black hat hackers of testers, okay, the pen testers I'm talking about here, you don't have not too much knowledge, no prior knowledge to run a networking computer and needs to be tested. So right now, if you're going to doing it, you have black hat pen testers, you don't have too much information like that, and you are going to doing it for your own, you know what, on your own risk. I can say that. We have white hat hackers, so with complete knowledge of networks, computer, or applications that need to be tested. So the white hat hackers have full knowledge of networks, computer applications. What need to be tested? What is the protocols? What are the OSI layers? What are the applications codes, the programming? We have different loops in the programming. We have different, SDVN, suppose implemented in the company, software-defined networking and the networking devices. So what are the different APIs are working at the back end? How do you want to compromise the APIs at the back end? Right? And if you're talking about some computer point of view, then if the host is working, so that how do you going to be secure your with the help of the patches of your systems in the virtual instances in the cloud computing point of view? Suppose you are going to creating an instance on the cloud computing, and you need to be patching all those things. How are you going to be secure your host on the cloud computing thing? So what are the strategies? What are the features? What are the plans you're going to be deployment into the cloud computing to make your system is more secure? So we have different features, like we have AWS Shield is one of the examples. I would say that for DDoS attacks, preventive things you're going to doing it. Okay, we have CloudWatch is also in the AWS environment, where you're gonna be look for go for the events, and logs will be there, so that it will be help you in the evidences point of view for the ISO 27 audit or anything audit. So audit require any evidences of the events logs of the devices. So the CloudWatch or Cloud Trails is for only the logs events, but CloudWatch is going to be using for getting some evidences, collections, all those things. and different strategies there. I'm not talking about a simple example, but we have different things we are doing it. We have free hat hackers with limited knowledge of network, computer, or application that needs to be tested. So mostly you have some limited knowledge of networking or applications. Yes, you have aware about all those things. It's a great hacking, all those things there. So I can say that the black hat hackers, white hackers, gray hat hackers, they are different terminology is just gonna using it, but in practical environment, nothing is there. In practical, you should going to the company, getting an interview, and they assign they will going to share all those things, and then you're gonna working all those together. And then you need to get some more knowledge about it. But it's for only learning purpose. We are going to be study all those things. So that's it, guys. Because if you're talking about, we have only cover the slide number 14 till the time, and we have more than 32 slides will be there, right? We have 32 slides will be there right now. Into the same, we have limited time for today. So I'm going to wrap up the class. And if you have any questions regarding same, you can tell me if you have any questions.
Nothing from here.
Sir, you said CloudWatch is there in that AWS. So what do we have in the Azure and Google Cloud Platform, GD?
Yes, if you're talking about some Azure point of view, so we have Sentinel is one of the things you're going to be getting all those things. So we have security centers into the Azure platforms. What are the different bugs will be available. You're going to be fix it all those things so that the security Sentinel is one of the things, and we have talking about some Sentinel is one of the tools features we're going to use in the Azure point of view. So they're going to be check it out all those things. So event bus and events logs, all those things will be tracked over there. And
So
if you're
you
talking
said,
about,
sir,
yeah.
sorry, sir, sorry. Okay. You said, sir, we have two tools in the Azure for the logs and event management. It's one is Sentinel and another one is the security center.
Yes, we have
right?
some more features will be available. Most probably, I can say that.
So what are the difference? So that will be learned in the new upcoming session. So what would be the difference? Like if the two tools Microsoft providing Sentinel and the security center. So what are the difference in between them? Why the Microsoft has provided two tools for events logs management?
Yeah, actually, I can say that if you're talking about the cloud computing security point of view, so we have different features. It's not about the two features. We have number of features available on the Azure platforms for the logs event management point of view or the compliance point of view and many more. So we have separate sessions for the cloud security. I have already suggested so that we will gonna be working on the cloud security platform security point of view. That I'm just talking about two things right now, but we have number of features, number of things once we are going to the cloud security platforms, that this is the use case, this is the happened, and then suppose we have OS top 10 features. Suppose we are talking about some application attacks, what are different strategies you're going to implement. Suppose we have networks attacks, then this is the strategies we're going to using it. Suppose we have DDoS attacks happen, then what are the strategies we're going to doing it. We need to be maintaining our databases need to be secure or synchronized between two different regions. Then we have different strategies we're going to doing it. So cloud computing is more about the use cases. Cloud computing is more about the case studies. Cloud computing is more about the concepts and logics understanding, because this is the thing that you're going to pay for as you go feature, right? And then what features you're going to using it, where you're going to mapping it, what's the right process you're going to doing it, what's the right steps you're going to doing it. That's what it is all about. So we will going to cover in our next few sessions there.
Okay, so we have the separate session for the cloud security, and that we will cover all this this thing into that clouds.
Yes. If you are join my previous class, so we have seen that I have going to make some syllabus already providing to you that we have CCSP, CCSK, AWS, Azure. All things will be covered into the same. So the compliance point of view, regulations point of view, risk management point of view, and how the cloud security going to working, where it is going to map, which features going to working for what sort of things. So that's what I'm talking about here, so that you will going to get enhanced knowledge about the cloud computing things, my dear friend.
Okay, sir. Okay. So, sir, I haven't received this syllabus that you are going to cover all the, chapter by chapter and then topic by topic. So, is it possible if you can share over that email or the WhatsApp? So that would be great, and we can save it like this topic has been covered, and this will.
Yes, this is the things. Okay, this is for the cyber security and the cloud computing and all those things. So if you going to the things is there, then you're just going to talking about here. This is the CCSP, CCSK, and also those things. So you can see that in this. This is one, the cloud
Yeah,
data
right.
security, and we have cloud concepts, architecture designing, cloud application security, cloud security operations, legal risk, and compliances. So all those things will be covered, whatever you're going to be asking to me about the cloud computing security point of view.
Right, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. So it would be better, sir, and that would be really nice if you could share with us this that what we are going to learn and subject by.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, definitely. I will going to sharing on the WhatsApp. So you just going to take a look, and if you are with our previous sessions, we have discussed about some the assignments. Because I like the assignments from the candidate's point of view. So suppose we have learned all those things, you need to be shared the assignments to me, that what things you're learning, how do you deployment, how do you learning all those things. So this is examples like the security operations, the SIM solutions, threat intelligence, digital forensics, BCP, and incident response plan sort of things. And yes, many more things. So same things I'm going to be cover, like this is the topics we have right now into the architecture designing, deployment, migration of clouds, what you need to go doing it. That's what we discuss in our assignments as well. Yeah, I'm going to
All
sharing
right,
you
sir.
all this.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I'm done, sir. Nothing from my side more.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
guys. So I'm just going to wrap up for the class for today, and we have 5 p.m. tomorrow. Same time, we're going to be starting the new sessions. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Thank you.